When Donald Trump first entered the political scene in 2015, he made an indelible promise to American voters: build the wall. It became one of the cornerstones of his presidential campaign and a rallying cry for his base. The idea of constructing a physical barrier along the U.S. Mexico border was meant to be a symbol of strength, national security, and immigration control. Trump promised that this wall would be a monumental success, halting illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and human smuggling. Fast forward to today, and the reality of that promise has unraveled in the harsh light of public scrutiny. In 2020, Trump's re-election campaign adopted a slogan aimed at cementing his previous goals: finish the job. But when it came to the border wall, there wasn't much talk of its success or the monumental impact that was initially promised. By 2024, with the Biden administration at the helm, the focus on the wall has largely dissipated. Despite promises of a massive, impenetrable barrier stretching from coast to coast, what we now have is an ongoing testament to government failure, incompetence, and waste. A new report from The Independent reveals the massive flaws in Trump's border wall. This wall, costing a staggering $20 million per mile, is nothing short of a failure in both concept and execution. The border wall is easily bypassed by ordinary tools purchased at a local hardware store, leaving the question: was this wall ever truly meant to succeed, or was it just a political symbol? In this video, we will delve into the colossal shortcomings of the border wall, its environmental and economic impacts, and why this so-called wall has been anything but effective. The origin of Trump's border wall promise. Donald Trump's promise to build the wall was among the most memorable and controversial aspects of his 2016 presidential campaign. As the 45th President of the United States, he pushed for the construction of a border wall with Mexico, arguing that it would prevent illegal immigration, protect American jobs, and curb the flow of drugs and crime across the border. The wall quickly became a symbol of Trump's populist, hardline approach to immigration. His rhetoric painted the wall as an essential step in safeguarding the United States, claiming it would stop the surge of undocumented migrants and drug cartels that he said were flooding the country. However, there were immediate questions about the feasibility of such a wall. How much would it cost? Would it even work? And, most importantly, would it be built at all? As it turned out, Trump's grand plans for the wall would face multiple obstacles. Despite his promises, his administration encountered resistance from Congress, logistical difficulties, and substantial legal hurdles that delayed progress. But in 2019, construction of the wall began in earnest, albeit at a much slower pace than Trump had anticipated. The cost of the wall: $20 million per mile. The financial implications of the border wall have been astronomical. According to multiple reports, including one from The Independent, the cost of building the wall came in at $20 million per mile. This staggering figure raised eyebrows across the political spectrum. The project's price tag alone became a contentious issue, especially given the fact that it was supposed to address issues that many believed could be handled through more effective and less costly means, such as increased border security personnel and technology. Despite this hefty price tag, the wall has failed to live up to its promises. The infrastructure, meant to be a high-tech, impenetrable barrier, has proven to be easily bypassed by individuals willing to use basic tools and ingenuity. The wall's effectiveness: a complete failure. One of the most critical points of failure for Trump's border wall lies in its inability to function as intended. The physical barrier, constructed in various sections along the U.S. Mexico border, has shown significant flaws in design and durability. According to The Independent, sections of the wall in southern Arizona have been rendered ineffective due to poor construction and environmental factors. In many places, the wall can be easily bypassed with little more than a power saw purchased from a local hardware store. It turns out that a saw or a sturdy pair of gloves are all that is needed to push the wall's pillars open by hand. In other sections, the terrain is simply too rugged to build the wall, leaving large gaps in the barrier that are virtually impossible to cross. As a result, many undocumented immigrants have been able to circumvent the wall altogether. This makes clear that the wall was not the impermeable defense Trump and his supporters envisioned. It's been described as a failure not just of planning, but of basic engineering, environmental impact, and incompetence. The construction of the border wall was marred by poor planning and an utter disregard for environmental consequences. Large portions of the wall were built without any consideration for the natural landscape, cutting through protected lands, disrupting wildlife habitats, and damaging ecosystems. In some areas, the wall's construction forced endangered species to contend with new obstacles, while also dividing natural migration routes. Moreover, the Trump administration showed little care for environmental preservation. Concerns raised by environmental groups were largely ignored, leading to the destruction of pristine areas for a wall that ultimately proved useless. The decision to build in rugged and environmentally sensitive areas demonstrates the utter lack of foresight and preparation by those tasked with overseeing the project. In addition to its environmental damage, the wall's construction methods were also criticized for being substandard. Reports emerged that workers often had to use makeshift techniques to get the job done, breaking up boulders or cutting through rock in ways that could have been avoided if proper planning had been done. The very same administration that touted itself as business-minded and efficient proved to be inept when it came to executing its ambitious goals. How people have bypassed the wall. The most astonishing aspect of the Trump border wall's failure is how easily it has been bypassed. As the independent report highlighted, some sections of the wall have already become so dilapidated that they can be pushed open with little effort. Others are simply unconnected in areas where the terrain is too difficult to navigate. It's been reported that people looking to cross the border simply make a quick trip to the local hardware store, pick up a saw or a pair of ladders, and are then able to bypass the wall entirely. These tools can be purchased for a few dollars, rendering the $20 million per mile wall utterly useless in stopping determined individuals. Additionally, reports have shown that individuals can easily slip through areas where the wall is incomplete or too poorly constructed to provide any meaningful barrier. This has created a situation where the wall not only fails to deter illegal immigration but also fails to address the larger issues of border control. The political ramifications. Despite the massive failure of the border wall project, the wall remains a potent symbol in American politics, particularly for Trump's base. However, it's clear that the wall has become less of a focus in Trump's 2024 campaign. In his previous campaigns, Trump doubled down on promises to build the wall, but by 2024, even he has largely distanced himself from the issue, with only passing mentions of finishing the project. This shift suggests that Trump has realized the wall is no longer the selling point it once was. The economic, environmental, and practical failures of the border wall have made it a liability in a political landscape that increasingly demands solutions to more pressing issues. Donald Trump's border wall, once touted as a defining promise of his political career, has proven to be a monumental failure in nearly every respect. With a staggering cost of $20 million per mile, it has failed to live up to its promises of securing the border and halting illegal immigration. Worse yet, it has become a symbol of government incompetence, environmental destruction, and misplaced priorities. The wall has been easily circumvented by those determined to cross the border, with basic tools purchased at a local hardware store. In many places, it is already crumbling, proving that the wall was built with little regard for its long-term durability. As we move into the 2024 election cycle, the wall may no longer hold the political power it once did. It's clear that Trump's border wall was not the solution to the complex issues surrounding immigration and border security. Instead, it serves as a glaring reminder of government waste, poor planning, and the failure of a political agenda that prioritized symbolism over substance. The Trump border wall will likely go down in history as a prime example of government overreach and failure, and the country will have to grapple with the consequences of this colossal mistake for years to come.